Scientists have found two mummified humans that are 7,000 years old that were buried in the Sahara Desert, that when they tested their DNA, found that they are a brand new group of humans. These ancient humans do not match anything that we have on the record so far. So they were a brand new group that lived pretty much in isolation for a very long time for this DNA to be so distinct from other DNA. For example, they are not sub-Saharan, so anything below the Sahara Desert in Africa. They are not ancient European. They are not ancient Eastern. It's like a whole new group of people that were previously missing from our documented like DNA genoming sequence. Why is this cool? Because it's from the Green Sahara. So back 7,000 years ago, the Sahara wasn't a desert at all. It was green and lush and amazing. And if you know anything about the Green Sahara Atlantis theory, this is very exciting genetic information. Just to clarify, these, when I say mummies, they aren't mummies like Egyptian mummies. They are naturally mummified. So by accident in a cave, they found 15 dead people, and two of them, two ladies, were really well preserved. So they were able to test their DNA really well and find their maternal line and paternal line DNA, and found, yeah, that it's basically this whole new group of humans that were living pretty much in isolation. Now, this is what the Green Sahara would have looked like post 5,000, pre-5,000 BC. So as you can see, Africa was literally like a rat run of rivers, massive lakes, waterways. It was lush. You would have had to have known either how to travel by water or cross water. It was very much a water world, if you like. So why does this have anything to do with Atlantis? So in Plato's description of Atlantis, they talk about the boundary line of the whole kingdom, the 10 kingdoms of Atlantis, being this huge area outside the Pillars of Heracles. And we have traditionally always thought that that was up here, the Strait of Gibraltar. However, the Strait of Gibraltar has been known as the Pillars of Heracles only since the Roman times. But Plato was referencing something that was much more ancient. Turns out that there were other sites in the world that have been known as the Pillars of Heracles. They were used to be like places of like boundary line markers, if you like. Now there was another set of Pillars of Heracles that were on the other side over here, that was opening, that was facing into the Mediterranean Sea, in this bay here that is modern day Tunisia, that would have gone into this massive lake system over here. So there is a growing theory that there was a culture that lived around in the Green Sahara, the Atlas Empire, that lived in and around and had settlements around this area of North Africa 10,000 years ago plus. And now we have information that there was a group of people living here that were completely removed from the, you know, our modern knowledge of DNA sequencing. They've just popped up out of nowhere. Who were these people? Why were they so isolated? And it's kind of magic that we've accidentally found these two women that were alive at 5,000 BC that carry the genetic traits of a group of people who lived in this area that just disappeared off the DNA map. They're not there anymore, but they were there when the Sahara was green. So I think that this is a little tick in the box of a possibility that there are, well, one, a group of people living here that we didn't know about yet, we're only just discovering through little traces of DNA. That also means that you cannot rule out cultures and whole DNA sequences of people being blipped out of the record and then turning up. We can find them. So I'm not ruling out cultures, societies, you know, popping in and popping out of the record. And two, I forgot my point. I forgot my second point, but this is a very cool factor. They also weirdly had less Neanderthal DNA, which seem to support the idea that the population was largely isolated for a very, very long time. And also the fact that it didn't support mass migration, so they were staying in one place, aka they're not nomadic. I'll just end this here. They're talking about this particular strain of DNA that they found. It did originate out of Africa at the same time when other DNA sequences were moving out of Africa. I mean, humans. But they were saying wherever they went, they must have remained isolated for tens of thousands of years. A lost Eden, perhaps. We may never know. I'm wondering whether or not initially they went out into the Atlantic islands and then were there for a very long time and then maybe worked their way over to the Green Sahara when it became green, and then they lived there and had a lovely time. And then when the Green Sahara, after like the Younger Dryas and everything started going all cray-cray, and it started drying up, and then they had to migrate across. All right, I guess we lost a lot of them, but there might have been a few survivors who then migrated across and settled in the Nile, and that became Egypt. That's my working theory. But there we go. And I bet any money that if we dig in and around the Green Sahara, what would have been the Green Sahara, we are going to find structures. I bet you. Okay, have a nice day.